Indeed. And greetings upon you. You're the only one here. Well, I mean, there's two people here right now, Aiden, but it's only me and you, dude, because the Reddit didn't actually go live. I got myself a little bit of lavender bits just to kind of. Okay, I have to restart the Reddit stream. Hey, Shannon, you're like, what the hell? Melt isn't live right now. Gonna gonna fix that right away. Comes to the YouTube. Thank you for joining me, friend. It's so nice to have you here. I love lavender. Oh, me too. Me too. Apparent. Wait, whoa, whoa. I can't stream. Nanny. Let me restart the app and see. Hmm. Yes, dark side. I feel like punching everything. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's okay to feel that way. Sometimes it's even necessary. You know, being willing to witness, being willing to kind of like sit with that fact that you are capable of punching everything, if you will, destroying the whole world. Oh no. I thought the Dora Diamond was on the front page for a second, but her name is She Was More. I like that. Oh boy, this topic is going to be a big one. I don't think I can stream. Hmm. I am not able to stream on Reddit right now. Fuck. Talking about our dark side, huh? How? Like, I feel sometimes that it's almost too good to be true, right? Like, the amount of synchronicity we experience, it's almost eerie. It's like, oh yeah, you want to talk about dark sides, huh? Okay. All right. How about you cannot stream? How about that? How are you gonna feel about that? Are you gonna let the dark side come out? I don't know. It seems like there may be some sort of connectivity issue on my side because now even my posts aren't working. Okay, they're working again. Let's see. Let's try that again. Punches air. Oh, no. Okay. I believe. I believe. My belief is misplaced. I don't think I'm allowed to stream. I can't stream. Fortunately, we can stream on YouTube. You know. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So maybe I'll do a post. I don't know what else I can do. Maybe like I'll just make a post and be like, oh wait, uh, stuff's whack. Cannot stream right now. Reddit is not allowing me to. Okay. Unfortunately, I can still post. So I can't stream. Reddit is bonking. Live at. I think I can find this live. Let's see. I don't know if I can. I can. Yeah, sick. Copy this link. Seek. Live on the YouTube side at least. Seek. There we go, Ryan. Yeah, all of Reddit is spicy, not just your stuff. I'm so chill, brother Bay. Sometimes it happens. Well, we're here now. We're here in this moment now. Put a message in the Discord. That's a good idea. Thank you for that, Shannon. I'm actually going to send that link on the Discord as well. Whoa. Oh, thank you, Aiden. Thank you. Thank you, brother Aiden. I appreciate that so much. Live on YouTube. Reddit is being weird. Dude, how nice of you, man. I just did. We good. You're so good, brother Bear. Put such a huge smile on my face while punching the air. How the dark side flips to light in unexpected ways. I mean, like genuinely, like I could be in a state of like and but instead, no. No. Instead, we're going to be here now. We're going to breathe. We're going to read something worth saying, and then maybe we're going to like take a moment to breathe and just to make ourselves aware of the different parts of ourselves. It's from pure thought that creation springs into being. Man, it feels so good to say. In pure spirit, you are unbounded and without form, but you are not without consciousness. I'll try once more. Once. Just Maybe twice more. And like, I'll see how many times I'll try. Unexpected ways. Holding on is what makes it grow. Man, like I wanna already launch myself into contemplating, but I think I'm going to spend like a little moment of it. There are other live streams at least, so they're like, ooh, man, look at how beautiful Haywire Hill looks like right now. Goodness, it's so green. It looks beautiful there, brother. Brother Becky. I hate mods. Don't hate, friend. Oh, bonk. Okay, no. Reddit is not going to allow us to live stream right now. But we're here, live on the YouTubes. Unfortunately, we do stream twice. I guess this is, one of the reasons why we're doing it. I really appreciate you, friends, finding yourselves here with me in this moment. And I would like to encourage you to start to really feel into this moment by just breathing through your nose, releasing one through your mouth, kind of like sighing, like really like, oh, all of this nonsense I've been experiencing in life, all of these things that I feel could be unfair or unjust, all of these things that don't serve me. Inhale through your nose and then just release it through your mouth. Coming to a point of awareness when it comes to your physical body, your physical sensation of actually being a humanoid, right? Where it is you're sitting right now, where it is you're standing, where it is you're laying down, even. Just kind of rooting yourself in this moment, feeling into this moment, noticing that you're safe and that you're secure, taken care of. That you have the opportunity to be here right now. And what a beautiful opportunity that is. Mm. After having come to that recognition, take a big breath. Breathe into your heart this time. Starting to look a little bit more internal. Just think of your heart as this conscious, real conscious center of yourself. Ceaselessly conscious. Going through its motions. Pumping life through your being. And then from this place, starting to think about your emotions. Starting to think about the parts of yourself that may be dark and how that makes you feel. Thinking about the parts of yourself that is light and how that makes you feel. Thinking about your relationships and how your behavior could have been seen as dark. Thinking of your relationships and seeing some of your behavior that can be seen as light. Thinking about your creative pursuits, the entertainment you watch, and what, if any, of it could be dark. And then taking a moment to recognize which parts of it could be light. Breathing, really breathing. After allowing yourself to feel a little bit, think about the stuff that you do despite how you feel. Your will to do things. Come hell or high water, your willingness to push forward. The part of yourself that is pure willpower, pure drive, pure want to realize. Think about the stuff that you want to do in life, that you want to do today, that you want to have happen in this moment. What state of consciousness do you want to will for yourself right now? Realizing that you can. Realizing that you can will for yourself. A state of consciousness. From this recognition of your willpower, Give that power to your heart because it's the one that's compassionate, that loves unconditionally, and that feels for every single being on this planet. Imagine your heart as the heart of the universe, ceaselessly just giving, giving you a heartbeat right now, giving the plants around you the oscillating energies that they build themselves with, giving life to every single being on this planet with rhythm. Taking a breath, noticing, if you want to try to, how your heart speed increases as you inhale and how it decreases as you exhale. Your breath and your heart are working together as well. If you want to get really technical about it, your diaphragm, the very thing allowing you to breathe, is attached to your heart. They work in unison, they cannot be separated. Breathing into that heart space, thanking your heart for having beaten every single day of your life and having kept you alive to experience this moment right now. With this aliveness, we have the ability to hear, we have the ability to say what is on our hearts. And trying to connect those two, asking for the wisdom to speak from the heart, asking for the patience to listen with your heart. Can sometimes be very difficult to know what it is we want to say. And we can ask for intuition in those moments, recognizing that there's a part of ourselves that peers into worlds unseen to our normal eyes. There's a realm of existence to our beings that is not here, but can never not be here. Allowing us to see things in everything, to see everything in things. And from this willingness to see, allow yourself to recognize that you have never been separate. And from this connection to all that is, acknowledge, realize, accept that there is nothing outside of you and there's nothing that you're not allowed to have. From this connection, allow yourself to ask for peace, for love, for unity, for acceptance, for remembrance. I ask for enough love to heal the world. Coming back into this moment, looking around yourself again. I don't know about you, but I feel like I disappeared there for a second. Ermias Plur. Peace, love, unity, and respect to all of you friends. Thank you for joining me here. Mm. Specific ways. Okay, there we go. Ah, I love this topic. Very fun for me in this moment, especially My dark side has been on my mind. Loving the synchronicity. Kayana, it's so nice to have you here, beloved friend. Like for me as well. Like the dark side of myself is like really trying to, establish itself. It's like trying to put its roots down, and I'm like, nah, dude, I cannot. I'm sorry. I see you trying. I do see you trying, but I'm not going to allow that. And there's so many layers of it as well. And I feel if anything, let me read the comments first before I start ranting. Don't underestimate the power of don't underestimate. Whoa, that is so trippy. Okay, it's better. You know that thing where suddenly there is like a frequency difference in your ears, or like there's a tune, but it was almost like I was deafened in this ear, and then the thing I was deafened by was this frequency, and then I was like leaning into that frequency, kind of like spending some time with it, and now it's gone again. Okay, 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 okay. I was actually thinking about you on this topic, Anna. Sync, so much sync. It's so beautiful for me to see it. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, friend. I was doing a stillness meditation in public park yesterday with open eyes, but I focused on one point. The sight started to have gray filter to it, and then everything started to look cartoonish. Yeah, it was almost like they melt. It's almost like they melt. Like I was doing this thing as well today, where I spent some time walking outside, and there was this big grasshopper, like just hopping about, and it like landed on a spot, and I was like staring at it, trying to see its beauty, and I was like staring at it with such intensity that the stuff around it kind of like started melting into itself a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's neat. Let me focus again, and then it was back. Never had such a psychedelic experience while being sober. Like it's crazy to me. I realize more and more that the psychedelic experience is being sober, Melita. Like it's so trippy because it's this combination of your subconscious influencing your consciousness, and it's almost like it's this orchestrated play that you're just kind of like going through. And if you're willing to witness, if you're really willing to sit as the observer with that process, see yourself go through the ebbs and flows, you're like, holy shit, this is weird. This is so weird. Weirder than any psychedelic trip I've had. Absolutely agree, Isaac. I love my dark side. It is of it's part of myself, and I use it as a tool to examine the things around me and within myself. I use it to control and understand myself. Beautifully said, Kayana. Thank you for sharing that insight. I've definitely been given my negative traits a lot of thought, trying to learn more ways that my ego tricks me into becoming less aware and attached. It tries to make you less aware by trying to make you self-aware, right? It's like, no, look at this thing. Oh, you're such and such, and these other people are so and so and so. Stop it, fucking dark side. Stop. Stop. Yeah, Joe. I wondered if you would. Insane. Afterwards, I was like, whoa, everything's an illusion, a collective illusion. And true, we're high on our minds all the time. Literally. Literally. Shadow work is a crucial for our progress. It's not our enemy, nor our friend. It is us. There we go. And I feel that's a perfect spot to kind of jump in. Like I feel I want to keep reading the comments because I disappear. But that is basically what I want to talk about as well today. Kind of getting to this point of recognizing that you have a dark side. All of us have a dark side. And by recognizing, and I feel we're almost past our darkest moments in our lives. Like we've, especially in our teenage years, at least from the information that you friends have been willing to share with me, our teenage years were the time in our lives where we were the darkest, right? Where we had the most angst, the most hate for either life or ourselves, the most disconnection from this connectedness that we feel right now. And I feel being willing to have, or not even, man, like it's this balance of, I believe that we've chosen every single thing that we're going through and where we are right now, including the bullshit, including the dark sides. So, like being willing to go through those things, to almost educate ourselves, to show ourselves a part of ourselves so that we may be beings of light. You cannot be a being of light if you don't know the darkness, not only within yourself, not only within the world, but knowing the darkness, realizing that the darkness at the end of the day is but the canvas where light will shine. On a very real level, darkness is something that allows for light to shine. And I feel we've been given this world that basically came out of its age of darkness. Like we are in that transition period where we were living in 2000 years of darkness. Plagues and religious like conquest, and tyrants trying to rule the world, and like prosecution of different peoples, be it race, be it religious, orientation, be it where they find themselves. Like I'm thinking about Tibet, and like this. There's just so much darkness. We've been experiencing as a collective humanity so much darkness, and being willing to look at that darkness, to realize that that darkness is inside of us, and to consciously choose to be differently. To be like, away. I realize that I can be a hurtful person. I realize that I can be a hateful person. I realize that I can be completely isolated and in a complete state of separation from others, but I can be the opposite. I can be loving and giving, accepting and joyous, and almost feeling into the fact that you having had those dark moments in your life is the very thing that now educates your ability to share light. And every single one of us goes through our own dark periods, right? Like we have our own dark periods that almost educate slash is the school that we go through to be able to be who it is we are right now. And it's so trippy to me because it's so common for us to be in this state of shying away from our own dark sides, where we pretend like it's not us, right? Like we see something horrific happening in the outside world, war, or like people, like I don't even want to say those things. There's not. Again, like I'm running this parallel of, yeah, we're unwilling to admit these things to ourselves, and then I'm unwilling to admit these things to myself. But these things are a part of ourselves. Like we have been doing those things. Like it's just us. Even though we're who we are right now, those versions of ourselves were who they were and did what they did so that we may know not to do that in this moment. And being willing to almost see it as perfectly perfect as well. Although it's not something we want, it's not the world we want to continue creating or continue realizing, we did create that world. And we did realize that those, levels of pain for ourselves as well. It's so eerie. It's so eerie that we're unwilling to accept that we're capable of all of these things. Especially so when people are unwilling to admit to these certain parts of themselves, while at the same time pretending like they're the opposite. Right? Like let me just speak in vague terms. Like I have seen over and over again in my life so many individuals that say a certain thing, kind of like proclaim a certain understanding of how things are supposed to be, and then at the same time being unwilling to listen to the most basic of instructions that come from the world. Like I imagine, I don't know, I really have to imagine, but let's imagine an individual who thoroughly believes in a certain religious sect, and they are convinced that their religious sect is the correct one, and they're trying to convince you to believe in the same thing, while at the same time being completely unwilling to listen to what the world is saying to them. Not only me as the world saying something to them, but their day to day life. The instructions, the lessons, difficulties that is coming into their lives, and then kind of like creating a sense of victim mentality inside of themselves when stuff like that happens, instead of being willing to admit that that darkness is inside of them and trying to educate them, trying to, like, with darkness illuminate something that's inside of them. And I see so much suffering. I see so much suffering in this unwillingness to admit that we have this ability to be dark. It's like you're basically pretending to be only half a person. And pretending to be half a person is always going to be devastating because you're infinite. All of evil and all of goodness. And being willing to see that, being willing to stare that in the face, you get to choose. But if you're not willing to look at it, how can you choose? How can you choose between two options when you believe there's only one? Or if you believe there's none, that you don't have a choice. I see that as well, where people I know believe that we human beings are evil by nature. And because we're evil by nature, we need saviors. We need external saviors to save us. It's this complete admittance or surrendering to just your dark side. Like, oh, guess I'm dark and this is just how it is, and now I'm just gonna live my life as a dark being and guess things will be okay at the end of the day. Being willing to admit to yourself that you're both gives you so much more power instead of giving that power away to someone else. Let's see. Let's see if Reddit is gonna allow us to actually go live. Yeah, it did. Seek. Seek. Okay, let's see. Oh man, YouTube link is the thing that was last copied. Let's see if I did copy it though. Yeah, I did. Okay, sick. It was still on my clipboard. Hey, hey Reddit. We're live on Reddit now as well. I'm sorry, like you kind of missed most of the main the main juice, if you will. It is on YouTube, but Reddit didn't allow me to go live a little bit earlier. But we're live now at least, so that's sick. Mm. My dark side is a little too marshmallow for any real damage. My dark side is fast food, weed, and games. Oh god, I'm Seth Rogen's light side, yes. Embrace it. Isaac, you're beautifully perfect just the way that you are. I don't even think, like, I mean, maybe the fast food can be a little bit of your dark side, but I don't think the weed and games necessarily is a dark side. I feel the stories you tell yourself surrounding the smoking of weed and playing games is the dark side. You know, the part of yourself that is like, oh yeah, you're doing something wrong. And again, it's not about bad, it's about balance. We need balance. We don't have to demonize ourselves. Ah, look who it is, Talia. I've missed you so much, friend. Thank you for joining us again. It's nice to have you here. Life is good. Life is good. I'm doing so much conscious work, Talia. I'm doing more conscious work than I've ever done in my entire existence. And it's a little bit much. Like I feel like I'm having a hard time holding on to being human, but at the same time I feel better being human than I ever have. So it's like this live, yeah, we're live on the on the Reddits. I think there were maybe too many people streaming at the same time, so I had to wait a little bit. All is perfect. We're here now. Thank you for joining me on the yo same eyes. You're so loved, friends. You're so loved. You know, and like it's weird. It is weird because I kind of came to a certain set of conclusions within myself, right? Like I think the day before yesterday, some time selling all of my Dota items, right? Like I had a bunch of items for characters, hats, if you will, for Dota characters, and I consciously went and I sold every single one of them that I could almost as like a final admittance that I'm not doing that anymore. Like it's been almost 2 years since I played a game of Dota, and I don't have the game on my computer anymore even. But there was a part of myself that didn't want to let go. There was a part of my darkness that wanted to stay in the darkness, if you will, right? And I was like, no, dude, this is just how it is now. You're not gonna do this anymore. And I've shared with you friends that in those situations, the game wasn't the thing that was inducing a state of darkness in me. It was my reaction, my interaction, my perception of the game, and the way that I was experiencing it while I was experiencing it. Because it was this toxic feedback loop of, oh, I'm playing this game, I'm playing this role. Now my teammates are not playing their roles, and now because they're not playing their roles, I can't play my role, and that is absolutely, you know, darkening, if you will. It makes me angry, and that anger just kind of became something that I would perpetuate inside of myself because there was some sense of disconnection, right? And that's what it is. That's what it is. We separate ourselves from light, and then we experience our own darkness, but realizing that you're just looping back and forth between that light and darkness. You are that light and darkness, and realizing which things push you into that darkness side of yourself again, and then consciously bringing yourself back to your lightness, be it by meditating, be it by exercising, be it by eating good food, be it by treating yourself to an ice cream, be it by giving your little puppy scritches. You are both. You are the person who can kick the dog and the person who gives her ear scritches. And depending on what you choose, depending on your willingness to see yourself as infinity, you get to choose which side of the infinity you want to be. It's not about the thing that you're doing, it's about why you're doing it. Are you doing it because it's a part of your programming? Because it's a part of your perpetual, oh, now I do this. And then this and this happened to me, so I do these things. And because I do these things, I am so and so. And because I am so and so, I like such and such. And because of such and stories, absolute, like these program stories we tell ourselves, reasons for doing the most absurd of things. You're not the victim. You're really not a victim. Like I would go as far as to say as you're literally a node of divinity. That crossing point at which infinity meets, staring out wherever it is you're looking right now, you are looking into infinity. For infinity, there is stuff going in this direction. And then infinity going in this direction. And infinity, and infinity here. And infinity in you. You're that, friend. You're both sides. And just being willing to notice, being willing to admit to yourself that you have the capacity to be infinitely dark, you empower yourself to be infinitely light. The words you speak, the food you eat, the people that you associate with everything. It's a choice. It's a conscious choice. And the crazy thing to me is when we start making these choices consciously, our DNA change to represent those choices on a physical level. Once you start telling yourself a story of love, of light, of acceptance, of, like appreciation for yourself and for your experience that you're having, be it positive or negative, your gene expression literally changes as a result of that. And you're like, oh, I'm not sure about that, Mel. I'm being serious. Your brain is basically this filter, this node that relays information, right? You have this physical body, but this physical body can only get kind of like rough input, right? I can feel things. I can still kind of smell the lavender on my fingers. I can feel the breeze on my skin. I can see this beautiful tree and the light around me. But that is just basically noise. And then on an internal level, the light and the dark inside of me kind of has this battle, this conflict of, am I gonna find light in this scenario? Am I gonna find love in this scenario? Or am I going to fight separation? Find darkness, light or separation, darkness or unity, na 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 na, going back and forth. And depending on what you tell yourself, that is the information being sent into your body. As in, oh, I see a little bzz, 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 be it a wasp, be it a bee, whatever it is. So let me give it like a direct example. While I was meditating today, I'm sitting on that rock. Usually, there's a part of myself that doesn't like wasps. Like there's so many memes as well. Like wasps are just these assholes that come in and like just sting people because they like it. But it's not necessarily the case. And we've had more wasps on the farm than we've ever had. Like literally ever had. It's been so wet that there are so many more insects and spiders, and more insects and spiders mean more wasps to actually like kind of like create a balance. And I was sitting on that rock watching these two wasps, what in my mind looked like playing. Like they were playing. They were sitting on leaves, and then they would like buzz towards one another, and then they would go and sit on leaves, and they would get close to one another, and they would like touch each other's head with their little feelers, and then they would fly around again, and then they would come to like into this like almost little dance, and then they would go and sit on leaves again, and then they would get close again and like touch the little feelers, and then one of those big wasps. It was like these small little red wasps, and then one of the big wasps kind of came along, and then there were three of the little ones that was like, get the fuck out here. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Chasing the big wasp away. And I was just in that moment in such a state of awe of the experience I'm having looking at these wasps. Like seeing divinity, seeing beauty, seeing compassion, love, seeing unity and like communication between them. Even if the communication was get the hell out of your big wasp, even if the communication was, oh, I see you, feeler, 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 touchy, touchy, right? There was a exchange happening, and while I was witnessing this, it was empowering my being. It was making me feel things. It was creating a sensation inside of myself that I am not separate. Like I'm really not separate. And then I was like almost referencing all of the previous thoughts I've had. Like when there's a wasp in my room, I'm more likely to swat a wasp than I'm likely to swat any other insect coming into my room. So usually there is this state of I'm gonna murder you. You're in my space, gonna get murdered, dark side. But in that moment, the light side of me saw, genuinely saw these wasps. And it was creating, I was telling myself the story, the perception I had in my brain was educating my body in a way where I was experiencing lightness in my entire being because of what I was witnessing. And in that moment, I had to acknowledge to myself that I have spent that moment looking at that wasp, maybe not the same wasp, but looking at a wasp, feeling, perceiving negative impulses, stimuli as well. And that I could in this moment experience positive stimuli looking at these wasps. You're both. You have so much power. Human beings' greatest fear are not that they're incapable, unworthy, or powerless, but that they are powerful beyond measure. Literally. The power you have to experience, to create, to enjoy life, to share conversations, to have like a deep feeling in the way that you see your animals, the way you see plants, it cannot be measured. The amount of power you have cannot even be measured. And then we convince ourselves that we're nothing. That darkness. Convincing ourselves that we're nothing, while at the same time being everything. It's such a contrast. It's such a contrast. And that's what the ego does. That's what the ego has to do. It's its job to convince you that you're separate, to convince you that you're small, to convince you that you're unworthy, to convince you that you're not that I am. But you are. You've always been. You just happen to have been born into this body. Looking down at your hands right now. This body. As I'm looking down at my hands and I'm saying, this body, You looking down and looking at your hands and saying, "This body, there is no separation in that. I just happen to be me. You happen to be you. And we get to be us together. Unity separated to enjoy reunification. Light and dark. You're it, friend. You're it. I hope you're willing to feel into that. Darkness is subjective thought. A devout Christian would look at me as a she devil, while I look at myself as a wholesome and lovely being, not in an attachment to my ego, but an understanding of who and how I am. Another example of balance. You cannot know good without bad, light without dark, up without down. Who's to say one is better than the other? None is better than the other. You're both. You're actually both. I use my dark side powers on you, Mel. Stop. Stop using your dark side powers on me right now, Isaac. It's the control we find within the between. Because our light trails can turn toxic to us and others, just as the darkness. It can be too bright, even. And I was thinking about that today when I came out for the first time out of my room, awakening from my slumber. I was like, oh shit, light is too much. And I was like, I wish I had shades right now. So, in that way, too much light can also be a little bit of a jarring stimuli. And you can see darkness even in light. You can create, rather, darkness even within light. Yin and yang all. Yep, I didn't just eat the men tacos, but the women and children tacos too. I Isaac. The men. I don't know if that's a reference to something, but I love the way that you just said that. Guyana, you're really channeling some wisdom right now. Thank you for tuning me in. Thank you, Brother Bay, for being in tune. It is finally sunny here. It's chilly but warm in the sun. Thankful for a slow day at home office. I can relax on the porch with y'all. Oh, dude, thank you for joining us, man. Ryan, with I think most cosmet cosmologists or astrologists believe that less than 5% of our universe is light energy and the rest is dark matter and dark energy. Like ether, right? The thing, kind of like, okay, so there's matter, right? And then there is the thing between physical matter objects. And that void is ether, is darkness, is dark energy. And within that, air can flow, but it doesn't necessarily take up that space. Even if you remove the air from that space remains. And that's what darkness is. That's what you are. That where even if you take away the light, you still are. That receptivity, that ability to receive, that ability to be infinite, vast, conscious. Conscious work is so important. You're doing a great job, Mel. We're doing it together, Talia. Present! Thank you for joining, Michelle. It's so nice to have you here, friend. Man, I have a bunch of YouTube comments that I haven't read yet. Lately, I've been trying to focus on the words of people I admire to turn my dark side of self comparison, to trim my dark side of self comparison. I admire them and trust them. If they love me or have good words to say, I love me too, then. There we go, Brother Bear. I love you, Isaac. I love you so much, Brother Bear. So much. Illuminate the dark. Illuminate with darkness. There we go. Looking good, my man. Thank you, Untitled. And Ryan, you must make up at least 3% of that light. There we go. 3.33%, I'm guessing. To be honest, when you look at an anthropology, what's up? What's up? Huh? Anthropology, we become evil through civilization. Hmm. I feel civilization made greed easier than it's ever been, or at least the capital, the world of money, and that kind of came alongside civilization. They kind of like went hand in hand. The world of money allowed greed to be more visceral and more present and more accessible. Like you could see it, right? Like we have this understanding of infinity in our mindsets, and money doesn't. You cannot have infinite money, but we try to. And then we believe that as soon as I have infinite money, then I'm gonna be infinitely happy. Guess the fuck what? No, doesn't work that way, unfortunately. And look at all these YouTubers. Look at all of this. It's insane. I was thinking about you like maybe 3 times today. It's insane. Thank you for joining us, Brother Bear. As soon as humans started trying to own shit, it went downhill from there. It's so beautiful you say that as well, Aiden. Me and Aaron, like I mentioned to you friends that Aaron sent me a like a message while we were in stream. The message he sent me was about that, about not being able to own things. You know, he was like walking next to a lake, just like spending time in reverence and awe of nature and the beauty thereof, and realizing, kind of like being in that moment and realizing this is not mine, right? I can't take this. But because I'm allowing myself to be here, I am taking it in. Not taking it away, taking it in. And that's what life is. It's the taking in. It's being that darkness, allowing the light to flow into you and through you. Not trying to hold on to it, not trying to own any of it. All you can take is that breath. And even that you have to give back. Just be in this moment. There's nothing to have, there's nothing to need for. If you were a being of infinite potential and you could create anything, would you be able to create something better than it is you have right now? And really spend some time thinking about that. Really spend some time thinking about that. The more time I spend, the more I realize that this existence we're a part of right now is as perfect as it could be. As it could be. It could be more perfect. And we're realizing that right now. But in this very moment that we're in, it's perfect. All of it is perfect. And I know all of the dark sides of myself, all of the dark sides of the world is flooding into my brain as soon as I say those words. And that's the point. That's literally the point. Oh, everything is perfect, huh, Melt? What about this, and that, and this, and this, and that, and this, and this, and that? Yeah, how does that feel? Huh? How does it feel recognizing that those things are? And yet, so are you. You're the one casting light, illuminating, being aware enough to see. So thank you, friend, for that. It's interesting how evolution of the human hits this point and we became aware of conquering. Since then, we just want to live into this made up hierarchy of power based on who owns more. Dude, drives me insane sometimes. Corey, good old duality. I am light on the dark and the darkness that is infinity. Yes, Corey, yes, you are with the bear. Like, what physically changed between animals that fit into their own food chain and niche in ecology? Yet humans are like, we want to reside everywhere and eat everything. I feel like there's a part of ourselves that's really curious, that's exploratory, so it goes everywhere. And then inevitably we get hungry while we are everywhere, and then we end up eating everything. Survival, survival. I wanted to say survival of the fittest, but I don't necessarily believe that we are the fittest necessarily. We thrive no matter where it is we are because we are those beings of light. It's that light in us that allows us to thrive no matter how dark it is, like a candle being moved through a dark environment. You, as that candle, as that source of light, as that source of fire in your heart, moving through a world that can be seen as dark. But instead of feeling like your fire is being dimmed by it, realize that you're the one illuminating it. Same, but different. Wasps have been shown to do play fighting. Play is not a mammal exclusive trait. That's true. And it was beautiful for me to see that. And they do a job as well. They keep spider populations under control, and I believe they do some mild pollinating as well. So they have a role to play. Birds screw around, playing chase games all the time. It's fun to watch the smaller, more agile birds make sharp turns and dives. They are acrobatics, basically. Don't blame the ego for doing its job. Don't blame the ego for doing its job. Beautifully put. Thank you for that, Melita. It's so fun to see how animals have fun. It's just I'm just glad that there aren't any coordinated continent-wide animal conquests. The kangaroos have armed themselves. Run! I mean, the whole uh, I've forgotten the movie's names. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. There we go. Yeah. Suddenly the baboons have guns. Like I'm just imagining, like suddenly being in oneness, and then like the entities that I've always known in my entire existence kind of was like, bro, what the hell? You died? And I was like, apparently. And they were like, how did you die? And I'm like, I'm not exactly sure. I'm like, you want to check? And I'm like, yeah, let's find out. And then we like go back, peering into that infinity that is my life in the moment that I died. And there is just a monkey with a sniper, like long shotting me from like 2 kilometers away. And I'm like, well, that's one way to go. That's one way. Today, I'm finally retiring the phone that built all of this. New super phone arrives today. I'm happy that you have the abundance to get a new phone. Brother Brandon, thank you for sharing that with us. Which one are you getting? Isaac Emus did this in Australia and won the first battle against the Australian army. Yeah, the Australian army lost the battle versus the emus. It's a so freaking hilarious. Good morning, Candace. Thank you for joining us, friend. One emu equals 3 John Wicks. Suddenly, these emus are like dual wielding blocks, dude. No, we've been a week and 3 days of being in our homestead. And how are you finding it, Candace? How are the girls finding it? I'm more curious about their interpretation of it. Actually, cheers to that, friend. Cheers to you, Isaac. Thank you for the bear. It was a reference to the sand people murdered in Anakin. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Isaac. John Wick used a pencil. Emu uses its toes to kill. Man, like now suddenly there's this whole John Wick trilogy happening in my mind where he just kills people with his toes instead of like pencils. And that is significantly more horrifying. Goodness, like I'm actually getting goosebumps. Stop, please. Stop it, brain. I want to stop seeing that stuff. When did the Samsung S22 Ultra? Okay, the one with the S Pen. Yeah, the notes. The notes are gone, dude. I think I have the last note that will ever be. And I started with the Note 2, dude. So I'm happy that you're upgrading, Brother Bear. It's been a long time coming. You have like 3 of them, don't you? Like I still want you. I still imagine rather, this whole setup where you're using all of these different mobile devices, kind of like plugged into maybe mini solar panels or something like that. I don't know if it would be that easy to kind of allow them to just like auto connect. They are kind of waterproof. My mind is running, 70 different parallels. Me and Uncle Becky, and I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to share, Uncle Becky, but I do believe it's something that our friends would be interested in. Uncle Becky is also a streamer here on Haywire Hill. You friends probably know about him. But we've had these conversations about having multiple different cameras in multiple different scenes, and then running a stream, and then almost either like at first, of course, it would have to be us switching scenes, but eventually, hopefully, getting into the point where you friends can choose which part of the infinity you want to look into. So, like, I've been waiting on that, brother Bear. Oh, it's the conscious manifestation of Haywire Hill. I've definitely left this dimension. What's up, dude? It is. It is. It's Uncle Becky himself. I shushed my needy dark side last night. She was telling me I needed more than what I had. I knew immediately it wasn't true, but it felt like my heart was being physically pierced. I feel that as well, Jovan. It's been so difficult for me as well, kind of like living into this duality of knowing that I don't need anything, and then my ego trying to convince me that, hey, dude, what about this and this and this? Suggestions. See it as suggestions. It's like, okay, thank you, ego, but we're okay right now, right? Right? And it'd like be like, oh, actually, it's kind of okay. Why did you shave your mustache, Russell Brand? I'm so surprised that you noticed, Cybul Jarko. Like I shaved it a little bit. I just kind of like trimmed it up, so it's not as long. And I was like, nobody will notice. And then a friend that I don't think whose name I know, is like, yeah, I see, Melt. Thank you for noticing, friend, for choosing to share love. Hello, friends. I hope everyone's well today. Again, Shannon, we love you so much. My dark side is powerful, but I want to focus energy and bring power to the light. I don't want to feel like I want things. Shine light instead of the things. Shine light instead on the things I'm grateful for. Exactly. You know, taking that moment of, oh, I want such and such and such, and if I have such and such, I'll be happier, be more fulfilled, be able to create more, etc., etc. And then just taking all of those, taking that energy, because no matter what it is you're thinking, no matter what it is you're doing, you're still using that divine energy that you always have, using that energy instead to just look around yourself. You know, I like to use my senses sometimes, where what would I be like right now if I didn't have the ability to hear? Would I give anything to be able to hear? Yes. What would it be like right now if I didn't have the ability to see? Would I give anything to be able to see? Yeah. And then going on through those lists. And I think it's like Stoic philosophy, negative visualization, they call it. Taking things away from yourself that you already have, and then being grateful for actually having them. Taking darkness, using darkness to illuminate the light. Message to France, none. Thank God you are here. We all lost, didn't make it. We almost didn't make it. Hush, I'm so happy that you're here as well. Like the Reddit was a little bit funky. I'm happy to actually be live. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the valuable teaching. Thank you for being with it, friend. This is this is all you, you know. Like genuinely. I'm just the other side of the infinity that is you. And I'm making sounds and you're eliciting a response from that. So I appreciate you for being here, friend. Congratulations on the homestead. Thank you. Thank you for like sending some love to Candace. She manifested that for herself with the bear. Like when she started tuning into our streams, none of that was even, real. Like she just kind of came out of like a big transitionary period in her life. And now she literally manifested the life that she wanted. Her and her husband together. They have 5 kids. Well, 4 kids, and there's a baby in the oven, bud in the oven. And I'm absolutely flabbergasted just seeing the amount of power we as individuals, as human beings, have to realize the lives we want to live. You can realize the life you want to live. Oh yeah, my dark side tries to linger. I try to be playful with it and keep my sense of humor so that I don't give in and even judge myself too harshly. That's where I struggle. You know, like when the dark side of myself comes up, I judge myself extremely. But the judging of the self is the dark side. So it's like a 1-2 punch. So it's like it tells you a story, like either of insignificance or of superiority, and then after doing so, it's like, oh, I shouldn't. This is dark. Grateful instead. You need a haircut? That's a question, friend. I don't know. Do I? I'm happy to hear that, Aunt B. Beautiful day to you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, curly hair dude. Thank you, Hush. 760. Dwight Kramer. Thank you for the wholesome. Natalie. Thank you for the love. Aunt B. Being playful helps so much. That's my go-to weapon of choice. I'm gonna try and use that one. I haven't been playful with myself. I tend to be very strict. Like, no, you sit down now, dark side. You sit down. I'm looking at a bottle of lotion, and just imagine that bottle of lotion, dude. Like the packaging, all of the resources that had to be extracted to make that packaging, all of the resources that had to be extracted to make the lotion that's inside the factory that it was like being produced in. You know, the actual containers had to go through like a whole traveling process, a little fractal of its own. The actual ingredients had to go through a whole little fractal process to get to like a single point where it gets manufactured. And in that point of where it was being manufactured, there were other beings just like you, Jarko, thinking, feeling, having dreams, having intentions, and that mental energy being put into the world as they're doing their jobs, as they're playing their roles, to realize that bottle of lotion that you have right now. We can go into the manufacturing or the shipping process to get it to the store, and then all of the stuff that you went through, your skin drying for you to go and buy that lotion. There is infinity in even the most arbitrary of things, even the bottle of lotion, friend. Our DNA doesn't fucking change. Yes, it does. I don't like taking big whole like hard stances, but yes, it does, friend. This is not a like I don't even have to explain this. Go and look for yourself. Go and Google, does my DNA change? And you'll find your answers, friend. Eugenics, yes, it does. There we go. Thank you, Infamous Minimum. I'm happy that you're on the same wavelength. I finally upgraded Melt. I'm going to cast this phone in a block of epoxy and put it in a trophy case. I hear you, brother Bear, but the phone still works, dude. Like that is a very important piece of technology, right? Valuable. It can still be used to realize more, to be used as a tool. And if it's in a piece of epoxy, I feel like it wouldn't be. Like maybe if it breaks, you can put it in epoxy, but it's you. It's up to you at the end of the day. Oh snap! That's pretty epic. Congrats. It is. I mean, like I believe Uncle Becky has had like three of those phones. Like while he's been like building in this process. At least that's what I remember you saying to me, Uncle Becky. I don't know if it's the case. Maybe you have an old one that doesn't work anymore. This guy's going to start a cult if he hasn't already. Like, what is a cult, friend? Why would I want to do that? In my mind, when I think of a cult, I imagine this like society where people worship an individual, and like they expect this individual to give them instructions and tell them exactly how they're supposed to do things. And I barely know how to live my own life, dude. How am I going to tell you how to live yours? A cult fundamentally expects you to deify either a deity or to deify a person, and then to believe that that person knows better than you. Where the whole premise, the whole thing it is I'm trying to do with these streams is tell you that you don't need anyone, especially not me. That you are the one that you've been looking for, that you are it, that you are this node of consciousness, and that you can change your life, that you can experience more beauty than you have ever even imagined. Not because of me, because of you, friend. It's you. That's my goal here. Like if I never see you again and you go out and live a loving life because of the moment we shared here, then my job is done. I'm finished. Like that's the point. I've had three total. The latest one was the one I built the community with. Okay, makes sense. I don't need you to tell me. I don't need you. Suzanne tells you that you don't need me, even though you don't need me to need. Yes. I love you, Sensei. Thank you, Brother Bear. Scroll past Sybil if the first time comes. The comments are deleted now. They're spam trolled. I know, Jovan. I'm just like, feeling into it a little bit. Thank you for letting me know as well. I'll skip them from now on. What's up, Fly Jesus? Oh, thank you for that, Martin. That's beautiful, friend. What's up with you? Gene expression changes. Yes, it does, has soul. This guy's fucking high. I feel pretty high. I did some yoga today. I did have a coffee again. And like I was listening to an Andrew Huberman podcast today about deliberate cold exposure. And he was kind of like going into the details of like the norepinephrine and dopamine like spikes. Like you can have a 250% spike in dopamine after going through the deliberate cold exposure. And then he mentioned that they did some studies on like caffeine consumption, and if you consume caffeine 30 minutes to 60 minutes before you go into cold exposure, it basically creates receptors or activates the receptors to be able to absorb that dopamine that gets released with the cold exposure. So I was like, oh, I was like taking a few days off drinking caffeine, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I can allow my brain to absorb more dopamine from something I'm already doing. And I drank my coffee. I sat and I meditated, waiting for the coffee to, for the caffeine molecules to bond to my adenosine receptors. And then I went and I had my cold shower. and I feel amazing. I feel like I'm over the moon. I also did some yoga. I was actually the teacher of today's yoga session, and I felt amazing in that. And now we're here, feeling amazing. Thank you, Lord Nuds. I'm happy that you're tuning in, friend. Is there any Indian connection to all of these? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, like, if you're talking about Hindu philosophy, it's just philosophy, friend. It's the truth that is on all of our hearts that we're trying to, bring into this world. Mm. Merman himself. I was wearing your scarf yesterday, Merman. Thank you for joining us, Divinity to Infinity. Brain breaks. But I need you to tell me I don't need anything. Sorry. You don't need anything, Brother Bear. You're it. Right now in this moment. You don't need to be eating anything. You can take a big inhale. You can hold it for up to a minute. You don't even need a breath. You still are. You still are, no matter what. Inside of you, there are two wolves. Which one do you want to feed? There we go, friend. Couldn't agree more. I mean, he's right, but this is kind of obvious. Friend, I'm not pretending that I'm bringing information that is revolutionary. Like, I'm not expecting a Nobel Prize. I'm just sharing the truth that is placed on my heart today. And, I feel like these truths are on all of our hearts. And being willing to tune into a space and listen to some truths, listen to some feelings, listen to some experiences from another individual can allow us to see things within inside of ourselves. And that's what we do here. Today is the day that I tried the phone. I think I've read that twice now. Thank you again, Uncle Becky. I look forward to seeing the resin encased cell phone, though. So true. Which one will you feed? There we go. It's apparently not. Some people don't realize. It's true as well. Wasps are great pollinators. There we go. Uncle Becky as well. Ear scratches. Exactly. Why do we equate darkness to negativity, self orientation, evil, etc., and light to love, joy, and beauty? Seems to be human bias. Oh, absolutely, friend. Definitely. And, being willing to admit that to ourselves is basically you being willing to admit your own darkness to yourself as well. Maybe the dark part of yourself is the part of yourself that tries to make sense of any of this. So it's like, oh, am I evil for trying to understand? Like it's just being willing to admit that you have the capacity for both. We don't have to label them, but you have the capacity of the infinity. Your clothes are on point today. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate you for saying that, friend. I like this something to think about. Helps me to hear something in words and see the visual infinity symbol to make that battle feel a little less scary and more understood. Thank you for saying that, Solar. Oh, like that's one of the comments that I want to screenshot. You know what? I will. There we go. I freaking screenshot it. Take that one with me into infinity as well. I appreciate you, Solar Flare. This man is literally saying nothing, and yet you're experiencing something, friend. Isn't that surreal? Literally from darkness, you as light. Everything needs balance. That it does. That it does, friend. Exactly right, because plant requires some energy. Ended my 7-day water fast today, and I want to eat so much, but I know I shouldn't. Like eat fruit, eat fruits and vegetables if you want to eat a lot of stuff. Like you'll get full before you'll hurt yourself with fruit. At least I believe, because it's a lot of water and fiber. What do you plan on eating? Let me ask that at least and say, and how do you feel? How does your brain feel, friend? Right? Because plants require some amount of darkness as they do light, or they won't fruit. Same with life. You can have both. Absolutely. I'm in the I'm gonna murder you state most of the time. Mm. Boombox. For a very long time, I didn't know there was any other state to be in than the I am gonna murder you state. When I was a teenager, goodness, dude, the stuff that I would think and the stuff that I would feel was so dark that just even thinking about it right now, I'm scared. I'm scared of that part of myself. Like I never want to be that ever again. You are in a simulation. You are the simulation, friend. Simulating divinity, simulating the universe as conscious self in this moment. Talking in circles, lol. We all do, Miller. That's what talking is, friend. It's not supposed to be a point. Philosophy doesn't have to have a point. That's why it's philosophy. That's why we've been philosophizing as human beings for as long as we've had the ability to talk. It's not going to stop, especially not because you say so. I don't feel any different as I expected. I just feel fine. Ate 4 eggs and broth, Lamar. That sounds good, dude. That sounds like some good. Like genuinely, like especially those. I've forgotten the word. Carotenoids. There we go. Especially those, dude. Mm, man, I feel like my mind is running at a million miles an hour. So much love to everyone. So much love to you, Aunt B. Thank you. Me neither. But watching. It's interesting. Yeah, it is, friend. Right? Thank you. Was feeling attacked. I'm so sorry to hear that Artisan back. We love you, friend. With no dark, there is no light. That's right. With no light, there is no dark. That's also right. It's more chilly this morning than I expected, but going great anyway. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for telling us, Aunt B. I want only light. We do. We do want only light, but this whole stream is just about witnessing, acknowledging that we are capable of both. Not shying away from any of them. Have some peanut butter on crackers. Like the only thing that's coming up in me is insane, and take this as you may, is just vegetable oils. I'll just say that. Vegetable oils. Like, unfortunately, peanut butter and crackers have a lot of vegetable oils in them. And me wanting you to be your healthiest, me wanting your microbiome to get the goodest good that it could get, I have to say that. I'm sorry. It's been said. I'm done. The dark side of myself have come out. Shadow work is misunderstood and actually quite important. You need to spend some time with your shadows, understand them, and figure out how to absorb that as a part of you to keep them at bay. Yeah, literally. That's what shadow work is. It's not necessarily doing things that are going to put you in the shadows, but being willing to look at yourself, see the parts of yourself that could be in the shadow, and befriending it, sitting with it, being like, oh, hello, jealousy. Why? Why exactly? You know, is it because you feel unworthy? Because you feel inadequate? Is it because you're scared of not being seen? Oh, hello, feelings of superiority. Is it because you feel lesser? Is it because you feel unseen? Is it because you are sad and you want to justify why it is you're sad? Hello, anger. Is it because you're scared and you're trying to externalize it? Being willing to spend some time with your own darkness is very necessary sometimes. I live in MD and I know this feeling. Evil abed and aboard. Unlikely abed. That is pretty interesting. Making me miss Justin. Hello, friendos. Unamused jesters. Nice to see you, friend. So void, so void. Mm, thought provoker. I like that, Martin. Thank you for sharing your love, friend. Because light pertains to being seen, as in not being in the cover of darkness, it's exposed. If exposed, it has nothing to hide. It is the truth. It doesn't necessarily equate to positive nor good, but by its nature, it is unbiased. It burns all equally, melting it away. Yes, yes. Feeling into that. Thank you, Brother Bay, for sharing that truth. Is that a shipwreck behind you? No, it's like a that's basically the electricity coming into our house right now so that we can communicate over the internet. The maniac. Are you Rafa Noddle's brother? That's the second time we've heard about Rafa Noddles. No, I'm not, friend. I don't know why I saw a weird a shipwreck. I don't know, friend. Maybe that's the infinity that you needed to see. mm I can see it. I can see you. I've become sort of a lurker, but I love each of you, each and every one of y'all. You know that I know that you're all infinitely wonderful. Just tap into the fact that whenever you're needed some rich and enriching energy, when you need some enriching energy, you all deserve the best. Thank you so much for that, Talia. We love you too, my friend. We have you in our hearts. We cannot be separate. Bro, you need some milk. Yes, Jovan, I agree. I agree. That dude needs some milk. Now I want to look again. Move your head, please. Look at this. Shipwrecks. He needs some milk. Bubby loves that saying. Of course he does. Good morning, Becky. Sending so much love. The world's on fire right now. You're that fire as well, friend. You're that fire. Maybe you'd like to make better use of your valuable time. Take care. Be well. Thank you, Aunt B, for the encouragement. Hey, Lisa, I see you, friend. Thank you for joining us. Trolley Troll friend. You're having fun, I see. Monkey brain laughs along, but gets bored. When you turn 13, you'll understand, but know that I love you nonetheless. Yes, just like a mild like slither of darkness coming out. And still seeing it, all I see is love, right? Because even though it could be seen as darkness, that darkness was shared from a place of light. And I see you for that, Jovan. I love you so much. Play on Savage. Only bans when it comes to my mom. Yes. The dude got banhammered. What's in the cup, Ross? Water, friend. Just H2Os, a bunch of them, like a few billion molecules. It will be a few minutes before he gets to your comments, but it's water. It is. Thank you so much, Aunt B. Let's take a sip. Little funky. Kind of like it. Need more now. Cheers to you, friends. Ermias Plur. Sandra. You have no idea how much you have helped me. So much thanks to you this morning. You helped me so much this morning, Melt. Big thanks. Big love. Sandra. I'm seeing someone sitting in a like a meditative posture, and over them almost like a cone of light flowing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your love and your presence with us. Thank you for finding yourself in this moment. Like you're the one helping yourself at the end of the day. I still believe I'm just making sounds. It's you. Thank you so much for being willing to feel into this moment. Anything in light casts a shadow. It just helps us maintain our full perception in a room with no dark. There is no light. Dude, I feel that. And yet I believe we can burn so bright that even the shadows don't have space to hide. And it technically is possible. You have lights that is that bright where like shadow like the bouncing of the light little particles fills the shadows as well. Infinite light. I've had a Note since Note 3. I know I'm 20 now, I think. They're amazing phones, but they're officially discontinued now. Now the Note series is going to be I think the S22s, but the Ultra range. I will never stop working for those stacks. I'm sure you will, friend, and if you're willing to think about sharing some of those stacks with me, friend, since you're never going to stop working for them. Eventually you're going to have too much of them to spend. I don't know how Uncle Becky is able to use his. It's literally falling apart in pieces. Like, I mean, at least he's getting his new phone tomorrow, right? Or is it today? Soon. Emphasis on the soon. The dark side can be super hot fire, though. True as well, friend. Like a flower seeping through the crack of the concrete. Mm, man, I like that imagery. Life finds a way. You have found a way, nonetheless. Obvious home. Hello. What are you? I am. Infinity. There we go. Thank you, Lisa. As you are, friend. I am as you are. No, the phone is literally falling apart, Mel. Just like holding on, by slithers. Okay, then it's time to be cast. Then it's completely time to be cast. It has served its purpose. He's also Jesus. Who else? Thank you, Martin. I appreciate the love you share, friend. Who needs tears with the 100% scientific fact that DNA changes, and it is the most fascinating thing ever. A testament to the malleability of humans. There we go. Yeah, like this is not something I'm pulling out of my ass. This is fact. We have empirical data, scientific evidence, where we literally took DNA swabs from people, put them through things, and then put DNA or like kind of like took more DNA swabs and then analyzed those two sets of DNA, and literally within like a 1 hour yoga session, your gene expression can change. Never mind how much your gene expression changes over your entire life. And like for instance, war veterans, by the time, so they live in this world, right? In the world we're a part of right now, loving world, mostly loving world, family world, being able to spend time in society. And then they go into this world of absolute combativeness, absolute darkness, if we want to go there. And they literally have to, almost like, what's the word you used? They have to mold themselves into that role of being a warrior, into that role of being in a state of danger. And then when they come back to society, they have such a hard time integrating because, on a literal DNA level, they have changed to adapt to an environment they're no longer in. And now we know that with stuff like MDMA or magic mushrooms or ketamine, we can literally rewrite people's DNA with conscious attention. And you don't need psychedelics to do that. In this very moment, you already are. I'm laughing out loud. So much love to you, Lisa. Thank you. We've been using the same phone for years, well before starting Haywire Heal. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Like maybe I just thought that I didn't understand why there were so many of them. It's a sentimental man. It's beautiful. Like I mean, that phone literally. I'm going to keep this one as well. There's maybe I'm probably gonna give it to my sister if she doesn't have a phone by the time I don't need it anymore. But yeah, like I'll probably buy her a cell phone. I'm sure by the time I don't need this phone anymore, I'll have enough financial abundance to be able to buy my sister things. But yeah, I also want to keep this phone because it literally is that way. It's this little slice of technology that realized that helped us do what it is we're doing right now. It's insane. Like when I was feeding my babies and I got sick, my body changed the formula to help build their antibodies, literally. So this might be a little bit weird. It's just us as humans, but like people, man, now I'm like getting flustered because I want to talk about this. They took breast milk from a mom before and after her baby got sick, and there's a color difference. It is so different that there's a color difference in the milk. Like your body, or a female's body, will literally change the gene expression and the chemical slash makeup of her milk to be able to give her baby something that is going to help her baby to express its genes in a way where it will be able to actually fight, those diseases. It is surreal. And your baby can transfer the information it needs to you without even having to say it, without even having to, be able to express it, just with that touch, with that, closeness and proximity as well. It's insane. Like when I was for everyone, absolutely the coolest. I love it. It's so insane. It's beautiful. Highly sensitive people have a weird response to caffeine and such within their body. Is my response being a little bit weird, Lisa? I wouldn't put it past myself. I feel a little bit jumpy. Yes, because I'm still using it doesn't mean it's not dangerous AF. Is there like, I'm just imagining like Uncle Becky's phone having like pieces of glass sticking out of the screen, like where there's like you have to like kind of run a maze so you don't cut your fingers. Motherhood, what a journey. I can't even imagine. Love seeing you today. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, friend. It's been a while. I can't do caffeine anymore. I'm okay with that though. Perfectly. Like it's beautifully, natural that way as well. Whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever your experience is telling you, that is your truth, right? If I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, coffee, you have to drink coffee because coffee has this and this and this and this, and then you do that and then you have a horrible experience, then I'm just hurting you. We're both getting hurt because of that. Because not only did I now hurt you by forcing you to do something that was outside of your infinity, but also because you're being hurt in your infinity, the infinity that is us gets hurt because of that, separation of like, what the hell? Why would Mel tell me to do this if it wasn't something that was going to serve me? You're the teacher. You're the one that needs to listen to yourself. I only drink 5 cups a day now. Goodness, Artisan Black. That is a lot. I can't handle more than one. I'm learning this slowly, Shannon, but I do drink one tea in the morning and one Coke in the evening. That's a little bit less. I mean, Coke also has caffeine, of course. I do shit the same. I didn't have any for a few days and had a huge headache. My mom is also like a 5 cups a day type of person. and the screenshot. Martin, thank you, beloved friend. I appreciate the love you share. I just lean into the addiction. Thank you for the helpful Joe Bob Willie. You ever hear the song Nothing Man by Pearl Jam? What beautiful lyrics. I can't say I have, unfortunately, Lisa. Charles is here as well. I removed caffeine and carbonated beverages from my daily routine for over a year. Lately, I've been slowly reintroducing a cup of coffee in the morning and a can of soda at night. How has it been serving you? I feel I'll ask instead of say. I bet you felt good not having that. Yeah, I'm thinking that as well. Read my comment above twins. I'm trying to control my sugar cravings. Salt, salty roasted peanuts help. They can't. I I feel I've really, and this like it might come back and bite me in the ass, but I feel I've actually conquered sugar. I've actually been able to conquer sugar. So my sister made these. What did she call them? I think something like fancy people or rich people shortbread. Like it was so comical. Anyway, like I'm not. There's so much to that fractal. Anyway, so it was like basically shortbread, a little biscuit of shortbread, and then it is a layer of caramel, and then a layer of chocolate, and then cutting those into like these small little squares. And I kind of like put some away for myself because if I don't, they'll all disappear. And I don't eat at night. I only eat like during a small period of the day, and I knew that it will disappear if I don't, get some for myself. And I got myself like a small container of them. And the next day, I kind of went for the container, and I had some of them. And at some point, like I thought I was gonna just, eat all of them. And at some point, I was like, enough. You've had enough. Stop. And I closed the lid and I put it away. And today, I had a little bit more of it. And I had like let's talk in units of like I had one yesterday, and today I had a third, and I had the same amount of enjoyment, the same amount of experience that I had yesterday. I don't need it anymore. Like I enjoy fruit and whole foods so much more than I do sugar right now because the sugar just kind of gets me into the perpetual loop of consuming it over and over and over again. I love and relate this point so heavenly. It's also very subjective, right? All of it. All of it is always so beautifully said, Kayana. You are my Red Bull. Thank you, Martin. I appreciate your enthusiasm, Brother Bear. It's beautiful to see. I think two shots of it in the morning, at lunch, before and after gym. Caffeine. The biggest thing, and this is something I shared with my mom as well. The biggest thing that you have to stay aware of with caffeine is that your brain literally grows new receptors to be able to, receive. I think it's adenosine. I think it's adenosine. To receive adenosine, which is the molecule that tells your brain it's time to be sleepy, it will grow new molecules if you keep, or grow new receptors if you keep filling those receptors with caffeine molecules, which means that when you don't have access to caffeine, you'll get headaches and you'll be super sluggish and super tired because now suddenly all of those receptors are available to be bonded with the, floating adenosine molecules you have in your brain. I was thinking the same, Guyana. Isn't all language somewhat biased? Oh yeah. Oh yes, it is. Like I'm curious as well. I can speak two languages, but I like to imagine sometimes that all language is but abstraction. It's like an attempt to say what can't be said, and we keep trying to say it, but we never will be able to. I do miss teas. Teas have a lot of health benefits. I have no comment for I have no comment for Coke though. I don't either actually. Like I haven't had Coke in months. I think the last time was at Christian's place, so maybe 4 months ago now. No comment on Coke though. I haven't drank soda in years. Caffeine makes my cysts larger and hurts, so I can't get physically punished if I have it. I'm happy that you're willing to listen to yourself though. Thank you, Shannon. Peanut butter is a dream. It can be. See what's happening? Peppy is being a little spice machine, chasing the gooses, but it's like hissing at her right now. Oh, Peppy, she's such a character. She doesn't hurt them, fortunately. She just chases them. Like at first, she did try to hurt the animals, but fortunately, I don't know if she figured it out for herself or we taught her not to hurt other animals, but she just now is playful, chasing them around. It's weird you don't miss it after a while. The one day I took a sip of my kid's pop, man, it was delicious and refreshing. I think if it's again, it's not about bad, it's about balance. Like drinking a can of soda every day, I don't know if that serves us. Just because of the amount of sugar that's in a single can of soda, it's like eight, 8 or 9, or is it 16? Might even be 16 teaspoons of sugar, per soda can. Just about balance. Like having one, every now and then, I think isn't bad. But if it becomes a perpetual thing, that's where it can be out of balance. Grilled peanut butter and jelly for the win 100% of the time. Nothing like a good peanut butter milkshake either. Dude, I haven't had a milkshake in forever. Thank you for putting that in my brain. My brain is like milkshake. Milkshake. Later, brain. Someday again. Not right now. If you think about it, what makes a word description in the self experience? If you think about it, what makes a word's description in the self's experience with that word? Words are uniquely used to the individual's communication. Words are uniquely used by the individual. Communication is important to understand what is really meant. Ooh, beautifully said. So, like that just to me again is this understanding, this feeling of if you say something and the person you're saying it to is in the same frequency that you are, no matter how it is you say it, they'll understand exactly what it is you're saying. But if you say the exact same words to someone who isn't on the same frequency as you, they won't understand a word of what it is you're saying. They'll call you crazy. And it's trippy. It's trippy how the exact same words can mean completely different things based on who is saying it and who is hearing it. We had a whole stream about that. I don't know if it's just my connection or Reddit, but Reddit isn't being cool right now. I mean, Reddit is a spice machine sometimes, Shannon. But I mean, we were allowed to touch so many lives today, so I appreciate it nonetheless. Peanut butter and apple are now on my mind. Yum. Weirdly enough, no, it wasn't. It wasn't peanut butter. But I went to me and my parents, like they took us on a vacation to a place called the Dragensberger, and this was when we still went on vacations. And it was, I think I was like 6 years old or something, and I met this friend, and we went to their chalet, and his mom cut apple slices, and then put like a little dollop of like Nutella on the edges of those apple slices. And I've never in my life, like at least not in my home, associated that you can eat Nutella with apple slices. And it broke my brain. I was like, what the fuck? What's wrong with these people? While at the same time being like, yo, yo, please. Love peanut butter and almond butter. I haven't actually had almond butter just yet. Spice machine. I don't know if that's a South African thing to say, but I love the spice machine, analogy. A good sharp cheddar and apple slices is heavenly. A sharp cheddar. Do you eat it like as a slice, or do you melt the cheese over the apples? Because the melting of the cheese over the apples doesn't sit right with me. I can imagine like cold slices of cheese and cold slices of apple, but warm apple is just like nah, dude. That is sacrilege. Going to have to execute you by firing squad. Right, but even if we take away words and sounds and look at a visual of these categories, who made those categories and then who said, true, what's truth even mean? I believe truth is your immediate experience. That's the only way that I can use words to say those things. I eat like 3 tubs a week when I'm bulking. It's the key. I am eating less calories than ever because I feel like bulking isn't something that really serves me. I want to be a little bit lighter and then be able to control my own body weight a little bit more efficiently. A slice of cheese for sure, although a melted on warm apple pie is good too. I didn't particularly enjoy the apple pies I've eaten before. Maybe they weren't right, but like apple and cinnamon in a crust, I don't know. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. I hate that, but it's actually helped me better choices, knowing I'll physically hurt. Yeah, it can. It's literally your body being. And I feel our bodies do tell us that you're doing something wrong, but some of us are just healthier than others. So, hey, Buta! Sien jy Puppy? Ja, giganse. Sy maak dit ons nie seer nie, maar sy jaag hulle. Ja, gee gou 'n drukkie. Oh, loop ook hierso. Oh, oh.
Puppy, kom. Kom.
Puppy, los die ganse. We both have great self-control. This is the way. Oof, my sugar cravings have gotten out of control as I've gotten older. Immense sense of control is needed. For me, the easiest way to kind of deal with my sugar cravings is with intermittent fasting. Like I eat in a certain period of time, and then outside of that period of time, I'm not allowed to take any calories in anymore. And because I do it that way, I eat whole foods. I have to try and eat as much whole food as I can in my period of time, and then like it's almost like I don't even want to eat sugar because sugar isn't going to give me anything that I desperately need in this moment, and then I just eat good food instead. Do you have a favorite phrase in Afrikaans? Ryan Kang. I don't know if no, we have two Ryans right now. Ryan Kang, favorite Afrikaans saying. I think my favorite Afrikaans saying is as kakpraat kolletjies was, so jy nou 'n trop tarantale gewees het. It basically translates into if talking nonsense was a little spot, you would be a whole troop or flock of guinea fowl. It's a type of bird here in South Africa that has these small little white spots in it. Like each bird has like a million little white spots. And then having a whole flock of them, they would be like a billion or whatever, right? And it's like if talking nonsense was a spot, you would be a flock of guinea fowl. That's my Hakuna Matata is my favorite saying. Unfortunately, Hakuna Matata isn't Afrikaans. Hakuna Matata. That would be the way you would say it in Afrikaans, though. I went from literally hating chocolate to eating two plus snack cakes at night. That happens on B. And it happens especially at night for me as well, because it's at that point where I've used so much of my willpower that I just kind of like cave and end up eating sugars. That's why I feel it's easier for me to use my willpower to set a certain time in which I eat than it is for me to use my willpower to not eat certain things. There are certain words that define root meaning in my initial thought, but we will all have our own interpretation based on how we experience that word. Exactly, Kayana. You're the one that generates the truth from it, technically. Eek, I feel my pain. Weird how we change so much. We're constantly in a state of change. There is only change. I have a sister that helps rather than a bad thing. Literally. Apple smeared in peanut butter helped me. Shots. Nothing wrong with some vital sugars. Like, I mean, in moderation, that is. I haven't had sugar in 5 years. It's amazing, Shannon. And like, I'm sure that you do feel better because of that. Do let us know if it's the case. I swear I've been so thankful for my heart condition because it forced me to take better care of myself. And I'd rather be me than someone else. This is the way. But yelled at me to quit. I love tangerine tea in the morning. It's like caffeine. And a lemon enchinia tea or elderberry lemon balm. I'm currently been studying flower essence as a health benefit. Please do let us know what you learn, Lisa. I've also been looking into teas as well. I want to have like a whole tea ritual that I want to start implementing in my life. Holy shit, Charles. I thought That exactly. Like I respected your self control as I have your twin. Bedtime for me. Scrap you later. Check you on the other side, artisan. Thank you. You must be a badass too. You all are. You literally all are. Friends, I do want to spend some time with my brother, Antoni Anki. Thank you for joining us, friends. I appreciate the love that you shared in this moment. Heather, I'm happy to see you as well. I heard somewhere that when you are craving a certain food or type of food, you are lacking something in your body that would make it difficult to fast then. No, it can. It can. But we usually, crave or lack essential nutrients, salt or vitamins or minerals. Salt and minerals can kind of go in the same, you know, rain. And then, like for instance, things that are sweet can used to usually have a lot of minerals and vitamins in them because they usually, were contained in fruits. And then we were prompted to go and seek those sweet things because they would give us our essential nutrients. And now, unfortunately, we just have access to sugar everywhere. Friends, I'm so sorry to end the stream a little bit earlier than I anticipated. I want to spend some time with my brother, him being back. I love you. I appreciate you for spending a moment with me, and I look forward to seeing you friends again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you, beloved friends on the YouTubes. Goodness, I appreciate you sharing this moment with me so much. I hope you have an amazing day. Go and go and live into both of your sides. Dark, light, you. Melt them together. See you again tomorrow. Goodbye, friends.